Hello and welcome to Tangerine. This is
Tangerine.
Steam Next Fest platformers. I'm going to be starting off with Fetch the Ferret, spelt with an Fech, no T.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Why no tea?
I don't know. I guess the name's Fech. Fech the Ferret. His name's Fech.
Yeah.
So, Fech the Ferret, as I'm now going to refer to it as, is
Yeah.
a platformer game. I'll read the script. Fast and loud parkour platformer where the faster you go, the better music gets. It's a mix of 3D platforming and rhythmic subtones inside of a colourful open world you play as a cute pink ferret.
Right.
Fetch the Ferret is an ambitious open world platform you aim to give an experience sim to playing in a big playground as a kid. So what I got from Fech the Ferret is there are some interesting ideas here, but again, it felt like more of a tech demo than it did a game.
Yeah.
It felt like there was this big open world, but really not a lot to really do in it. You didn't really have any direction in the game. If that was the intended effect and it was meant to be a game where you just run around for no reason, fair enough. It was pretty good. If
If
that was the
things
idea.
to go and maybe like, wouldn't there be like if that sort of game to work to me? Like I feel like you'd then have like, oh, here are these cool vistas you want to go and check out, or like ideas to go and check out.
Guys, it's a teaser for the new Sonic game.
Yeah.
It's a big open world game where you run around doing nothing.
It actually looks better than Sonic Frontier.
What? Okay, question. Does it look better than Sonic Forces?
Mm.
You don't remember
Yes.
that? That's the last, like, Sonic 3D game they made.
Yeah, I think it is better than Sonic Forces as well.
I haven't played Sonic Forces yet, actually.
Ooh, there's no enemies or stuff though. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, because you go from these big open world sections, and then there was a few, like, indoor sections where you went through these, like, platforming challenges sort of thing, and I'll show you what I mean. So you would get score by jumping, and you'd have to try and get to the end, but then getting to the end didn't really do anything. There wasn't any real point to doing this stuff.
Right.
But if you failed, you had to start again. I get that it's going for like the platforming. I think this is like one of those games where it's meant to be just like chill, just listen to music and just run around, just for the fun of it, sort of thing. And if that's your sort of thing, then that's your sort of thing. But again, I think this was more. It seemed like more of a tech demo to me than a game. So just want to keep an eye on if they decide to turn it into something more. But if this is your jam, then check this out.
Yeah. Okay.
Got me on this one because the editing, the recording software bugged out when I was recording. This is Frogun or Frogun. Frogun. Is that how you want to pronounce it?
Yeah. That's how I'm pronouncing it. Frogun.
Tony, I don't know if you watched Summer Jeff Fest this year, but every single fucking game was a frog-based game this year.
I thought all the games were frog games.
So I actually saw this before, like Summer Jeff Fest and the Next Fest, and said, "Oh, this looks really cool. I want to try this out." Then I found out there was a demo for Next Fest, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I'm going to try this out." So it's sort of it's like a PS1 Nintendo 64 style platformer where the main mechanic is you have to use this like licky tongue frog to grab things and throw them, and then pull yourself across platforms.
Right.
And I was like, that's cool in practice, because I was like, this is a platformer. I'm going to play this with a controller. But then playing with a controller, a lot of the game is like trying to aim the frog gun, and I found that quite hard with the controller. Then I much preferred platforming with the controller rather than using the mouse and keyboard. So it's sort of in this like weird state where I wanted to use both, but it was not as good on either.
So we need to have this. So you want you to move your character with the analog stick, but use your mouse to aim.
It does lock onto some stuff, but there's quite a lot of stuff where you kind of need to manually aim to pick stuff up.
Like what I would expect is like if you're looking at something, it would like highlight to show that's what you're doing. Like it was like lock onto anything and everything.
Another thing that really pissed me off about this was certain levels. There's just like no checkpoints in a lot of levels where you'll just die and it's
Oh,
like start the entire level again.
oh
It's just like,
god.
oh my fucking god.
I,
Okay,
I feel like with this aesthetic, you need to have more checkpoints.
I was expecting it to be more of just a straight up collectathon. Um,
Hmm.
but it was more like because of the mechanics of like you had to precisely aim and stuff like that. It did feel more like a precision platformer, even though it
Right.
does definitely have a lot of collectathon mechanics to it. Just because of how hard I found it to control the gun, and then how punishing the game could be when you messed up. Um, yeah, I think that there is some interesting like collection stuff you can do. Um, but I think there's going to be quite a big learning curve for people playing this because getting the gun mechanics down, especially in a controller, can be quite hard.
Hey, you didn't get
Um,
the obsidian skull?
yeah, I was annoyed about that, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go on to the next level. I'll decide if I go back and 100% collect everything. And after I finished it, I was like, you know what? I'm okay. I think this one's
Okay.
interesting, worth checking out and playing the demo. I don't think the demo's up
Maybe some
anymore.
polish needed.
Yeah, maybe a lot. It's coming out next month, so
Hmm.
maybe not soon enough. But if this is the sort of thing you like, and maybe you can get around the controls, which I thought were clunky at times, maybe you can, because you would have to make these jumps, and you would have to like jump and shoot the gun. But if you didn't jump and shoot the gun perfectly, you just pretty much fell off the edge and had to start the entire level again, collecting all the coins. So it
Oh
was just like,
god. Well, there's
oh
no
my god!
like
It's like
life system. Like if you
it.
fall off multiple times, then you die.
I think there's like very few checkpoints, but checkpoints don't seem to keep coins a lot of the times. But it's like I would then I think there needs to be more leeway with the frog gun, where if you miss slightly, it'll just auto correct you a bit.
Yeah.
It was
I
like
feel like most of
it's
these
like I'm
games, like you normally
like
you have
look
multiple
look
lives
here.
before you die.
I'm trying to shoot across this gap, but I keep accidentally hitting
Yeah.
the wall next to me, so I don't actually go over the gap, and I almost fall off the edge. But yeah, Frogun. It's an interesting game. I just think it needs a bit of polish.
Yeah. On the aiming.
Next up, we have a terrible game, GRAPPIN. Um, so, as I said before, I played a bunch of games and I sorted them into categories, and then I made the shit game category afterwards, and I didn't move some of the games. GRAPPIN should have been in the fucking shit game category. It's also a platformer, though, so we'll talk about it here quickly. I don't want to talk too much about it. Um, I thought it was going to be like an interesting, like 3D platformer where you sort of just go around and have to climb a bunch of mountains, and yeah, it's just sort of climbing around for no reason, but not particularly good. There's the grappling hook in the game's not very good.
Yeah.
Like the gameplay, the art style, the story, um, the actual like mechanics or anything, they're just not very good. Um, the demo itself was like lacking in so many ways. Um, I don't think there was even like resolution options. Um, it just was not a good showing for this. Um,
Yeah.
I like these sort of games where it's just like you have like a traversal mechanic and then it's just like go crazy with this traversal mechanic, but it just was not good in this one, so I wouldn't recommend checking out GRAPPIN. Next one, we have one that should have been the miscellaneous category because it's called Misc A Tiny Tale,
Okay.
but it is actually a 3D collectathon. Um,
Right.
so in this game, you play as a little tin character. It's very much got that ukulele style dialogue system, where it's like oh wait,
Yeah.
I can probably play the audio now. It was just Frogun that was broken.
Oh, the aesthetic actually. I wasn't.
It's showing me mouse and keyboard controls,
Oh.
but
Oh.
I was actually using a controller here. I
Yeah. How you got your Ratchet and Clank helipad
that
helipack.
that automatically starts if you're in the air for long enough.
That's
So it's
cool.
not like a mechanic where you hold down a button.
Well, his
Um,
sign telling you how currency works.
yeah, this sign guide is pretty dumb.
Okay.
Next,
Wait, hang on, you're collecting. You're,
Bolts.
you're glitching bolts. There's like Ratchet and Clank.
Guys, Ratchet
Hang
and
on a
Clank 2
minute.
confirmed.
Yeah.
The platforming itself, it was a little bit floaty for my taste.
Okay.
Even considering he has a helicopter head on his head.
Yeah.
The camera wasn't great either. I think the camera could have done with some work. Yeah. I did like the game though. Like I like collecting things to spend at the shop in order to unlock the abilities and the extra cogs to progress to the level. I think this game, the demo had 2 chapters. I played through chapter 1, and then I was like, I know what this game's about. I have enough to talk about. That's enough for me. Like
Right.
when you play like 50 demos, sometimes you have to be like, I understand what the game's doing. I'm going to play something else now.
Yeah. You just try to get through like your backlog of what you want to
Yeah,
play.
I'm trying
Or
to
we want
like
to test.
I'm trying to play like 50 demos in a week. So
Yeah.
after the first chapter, I was like, this game's fun. I enjoyed it. I don't need to see.
It's on your radar.
I don't need to play chapter 2 because all I'm going to be doing in chapter 2 is trying to collect everything, and I'd rather do that when I play the full game.
Yeah.
I like this guy. He's just running around. He's got like this robot huff and puff. He's like, and then you have to find him like an energy bar.
I like the little characters. Like they have a lot of personality.
Yeah, we
Cool.
were talking about this before on another Tangerine. I think it was the shoe one. I was talking about depth of field again. Done well in this game. Makes you feel very tiny, like you're in a big sandbox.
Yeah.
Depth of field effect's cool here. I think that's become more and more popular. I think like depth of this guy's a spray can.
One thing it really allows that really makes you like the sense of scale that really work. Like it makes you think you're small instead of just everything's
And also,
large.
like,
if you just don't have it,
like depth of field's very important for like these platform games where you're very small, and then also stuff like depth of field and like motion blur can be really good in like I think it was Spyro does this really well, where its art style with the mixture of like the depth of field and the motion blur makes it look like almost like a Disney film in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
animated, which is like really cool to see.
But both of those can be turned too high or not done or not tweaked quite
Yeah, I
right,
mean,
and it makes it look bad. But like if it's done well, like it really
I
works.
think they had to do a patch for the Spyro Reignite trilogy when they had it on PS4, where they had to add an option for the motion blur sliders because some people were feeling sick playing it, which I can understand.
Yeah.
But you know, I think when it's done well and not too heavy, it can give a really cool looking effect. Overall, I think this demo was really cool. Definitely recommend looking into this if you're a fan of 3D platformers. Generally,
Yeah, it is interesting.
Pretty cool. The only part I didn't like was there was this challenge area, and I think that's when I started to really notice how floaty the jumps felt. Like a lot of the time, I was like pushing. You can see here I'm pushing backwards so I don't fall off the platforms, and I'm like, oh, like the jump distance and height I think needs to be adjusted a little bit. It feels too floaty and doesn't feel too great. And I'm like, what is it? There's a mechanic where if you're close enough to the edge, it will just bump you onto it, sort of thing, like they do in like, good platformers like Celeste and stuff like that. I'm like, it needs like the character design, the charm, the look is all there. The platforming's pretty good. I think it just needs a bit of polish on the platform. It's a bit too floaty for me. It needs a little bit more polish on it, and then I think it should be good to go. It's a fun demo. I would recommend checking out Misc, A Tiny Tale.
Yeah, it's good.
Next up, Tony, we have a game that is not 2D Sonic. This is called Panic Porcupine, and this is definitely not 2D Sonic.
This is like 2D Sonic. So was it Panic Porcupine?
Yes, you're a 2D cartoon porcupine that runs really fast.
Hang on.
This isn't the only Sonic game Sonic-inspired game we're going to be talking about. There's a 3D Sonic-inspired game after this.
Okay.
A
bit sus if you ask me.
Yeah. So I saw this and I said, oh, it's fucking Sonic 2D. This is going to be pretty cool. I really wanted to like this one. I think it is okay. It's just a lot of the mechanics I found were a bit too tough for me, a bit too hard. A bit like they didn't feel great to play, I don't think. It's really hard to gain speed in this game, which I'm like...
Oh.
Like, you can't do just like the standstill and spin and then immediately go around these loop-de-loops like you could in the newer Sonic games.
Oh right, yeah, I'm starting like yeah. If like even like looking like it feels off from what I'd expect.
My like one of the big things about the game is oh, that was one of my big complaints. So you know, like in Sonic, you get hit, you drop a bunch of rings, and rings are like a pseudo health system. In this game, if you like touch spikes or anything, it's just permadeath, restart the entire level. Which is why I was talking about the difficulty in this, where I'm like, oh, maybe you could, you know, put. I would love to see a ring system, or you collect eggs in this, so
make a life system,
make an egg system where when you touch a spike, you drop a bunch of eggs and then you can pick them up.
Well, okay. Well, I feel like it doesn't have to be like a weird system like Sonic. Why can't it just be you find an egg, it gives you like an extra life. So when you die or you get hit, you lose an egg.
Yeah, be a good idea. I'm just looking on the community forums now. Someone else was saying about the insta-death spikes, and the dev saying, "Thanks for the feedback. The game is definitely challenging, and frequent deaths will be part of the experience." So it seems like they like the system of just instant death spikes, which, you know, maybe Panic Porcupine isn't for me then, if that's the design ethos going forward. Even though I do like the idea of a spiritual 2D Sonic successor. Let's blast this music. Listen to this music. Is that not Sonic?
Yeah, it's pretty Sonic. I mean, okay, I'm gonna be honest. Everything about it is reminding me of Sonic. So.
Oh, so these twirly poles can go fuck off. I hate these things so much. They're so hard to use. This is one of the things that was making me not want to play the game. Because if you hit it at the wrong time, you just go hurtling to spikes, permadeath, instantly restart the level, and they're so slow and hard to use. They are so fucking annoying.
Oh, they're bad. Yeah. Okay.
So, like, I really wanted to like Panic Porcupine, but ultimately, I think it was too challenging. I think it could have been toned down a lot, like the challenge.
I think there's something off with like the momentum game and stuff, like something off that just feels not kinetic enough.
Yeah. Let's talk about another spiritual successor Sonic game, Spark the Jester 3. We talked about this in the podcast. It's a 3D Sonic inspired game. So the original Spark the Jester started off as a 2D Sonic game, and then it seems like Spark the Jester 3 is now going to be a 3D Sonic game. So that's pretty interesting how they've gone from emulating the different styles of Sonic. Also, this game starts out as a car racing game. I'm like, okay, I guess that's about going fast.
Yeah.
It really is like a 3D acceleration game, which I think when 3D Sonic's been good, that's what it's been about. It's just about going fast and not letting anything get in your way. And I think the design ethos of the newer 3D Sonic games has kind of forgot about this, or they just put in weird fucking mechanics that nobody asked for. Whereas Spark the Jester is just like pure pure speed and momentum, and it feels really fun to play. I highly recommend Spark the Electric Jester 3. I think I played this demo before the Next Fest came up, but I think it was available as part of it as well, and the demo is still up now if you want to try it out.
Yeah, this is really good. I mean, I'm just looking at the car game right now. Wait, how does the rest of the game play?
And I'll skip to the Sonic sections.
Okay, I'm just in my head, it's like, oh, okay, this is good.
It has like the Sonic dash mechanic into the enemies sort of thing. Some people like that combat mechanic, some people don't.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like the good part of the 3D Sonic without the bad. I'm really liking this.
Yeah, that is pretty much what it's about. Um, Also, one of the big complaints I think was the fact that the game features full damage, which I'm like, in a fast-paced 3D platformer, there probably shouldn't be full damage. I mean, it's kind
But
of
is it meant to punish you for not sticking to the platform? I suppose. Yeah, I guess. But isn't like falling off the platform already like bad enough?
Yeah, but I like the dash combat. This is reminding me of like the good Sonic Generation 3D levels, where it's just all about running fast in 3D and then just like dashing through enemies that get in your way and just trying to time all your jumps so you can maximize your speed.
It's not yet to defeat all the enemies to get past a locked door.
Yeah, and it's sort of a mix of this, like big open levels, and then there's like challenge levels if I can find one. Oh, this train level's sick as well. This game's really cool.
I was looking at the store. There's probably grinding levels like some 3D Sonics and Ratchet and Clank.
You love to. There's always grind rails in like 3D Sonic games now, so
yeah. I always felt that Ratchet and Clank did it better, but from looking at this, it looks like this is doing it well as well.
I don't think I have any footage of the challenge levels, but yeah, this is really cool, and I would highly recommend checking it out. I like how there's like laser grids, so if you're going too fast, they're like really hard to dodge, and there's some on the ceiling, some on the floor. Like, it's trying to punish you for, you know, not necessarily going too fast, but not paying attention, sort of thing. It's like you have to try and go as fast as possible. You also need to be skillful, which I really, really like, and I really like the design of this train level. It looks really cool and it feels really cool to play. As a fan of the the 3D Sonic style gameplay of running around and trying to go as fast as possible while avoiding getting hit, and then also it also has the collectibles as well if you like collecting stuff as well. So I recommend this one. I think I've got a mute up here.
Yeah, that's good.
Finally, Taylor, we have the Cub. And I think I streamed this to you. This is from the creators of another game I played called, I believe it's called like Golf on Mars or something. Let me look it up. Not Golf on Mars, sorry. It's called like Post-Apocalyptic Golf.
Yeah.
Look it up. Golf Club Wasteland. And I was like, oh, this game is a really cool game about being on a post-apocalyptic Earth where everybody's evacuated to Mars, and it's a really cool radio simulator where they just play like these fake radio stations about how everyone's on Mars now, the world's gone to shit, it's got some cool music. And I was like, man, the art and the backgrounds and the actual like radio and music's really, and the sounds are really, really good.
Yeah.
The golf gameplay fucking sucks. It's a golf game. And I played the Cub, and my notes for the cover, man, the sound, the art, the radio simulation is really, really fucking good.
The concept's great.
The platforming sucks. I think the problem with this developer, they're called Demagogue Studio. I think they just need to hire some more design, like gameplay, specifically gameplay design guys, because the platforming doesn't feel good. The golf didn't feel good in their previous game. Like, you remember when I used to complain about Daniel Mullins games? I'm like, Daniel Mullins is so talented, but the gameplay in his games kind of sucks. And then he released Inscription, and I was like, okay, finally we have like a fucking masterpiece game on our plate, right? I feel like, you know,
same for
here. Like, everything's really good, but the core gameplay is missing. Like, it's,
but if the gameplay was there, like, it'd be like an almost perfect game.
It would. This is one of the ones where I'm like, oh, it feels so bad that it's almost there. Like, it's like 60-70% of the way there. It's just the platforming doesn't. Well, I think another game where I felt like the platforming was off as well, but it was really interesting, was it was the guys who did is it Dearest of the Chinese Room? What's the name of that game I played on mobile? And then they also brought it to PC recently as well. Little Orpheus. Little Orpheus, another game where it's
Oh,
like it looks really cool, it's really interesting, but the platforming is not the greatest. But Little
yeah,
Orpheus, I kind of give more of a pass because that was literally designed to be an Apple Arcade mobile exclusive game. So that game was
yeah,
not designed to be, you know, um, played like off a phone. And I did experience on a phone, and on a phone it was really good. Um, yeah, one thing I'll say about the Cub is platforming difficult, and also there were sections where you need to do a lot of platforming, and when you failed it, it sort of reset you, and it felt really punishing.
yeah.
I
There's like
think
a timed element as well. It's like everything's like collapsing, so you had to do it in
mm,
time.
I think that's a big theme of this demo fest for me. It's like, or just in general, like if you design a game with like clunky controls, it becomes way more apparent when you put in like less checkpoints or things to make the player feel better.
Yeah,
Because as soon as you keep forcing the player to use them over and over again, they're just going to get really, really tired of them.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, wake me up when Demagogue gets a gameplay designer. That's when their games will be really, really good.
Well, maybe there are updates in the future, gameplay updates.
Yeah, I jest a bit, but like obviously they probably have a gameplay designer. But I just think with that bit of that, change the core gameplay loop, put a lot more polish onto it, and it could be a really good game. Because I really liked the theme of their first game, Golf Club Wasteland, and I think it's really cool. And I'm glad these like sort of exist in the same universe as well.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool nod.
Like the story of this has that Project Milo vibe, where you're like a kid and everyone's like trying to track you down and shoot you. Like you can see here,
Oh,
like
inside.
yeah, oh, Inside, yeah, yeah. I called Inside Project Milo because we
Well, he
call it
looks like the kid.
we call it the Project Milo game because he looks like the character from it. Yeah, interesting story, cool concept. Please try and improve the gameplay, and that's the end of platformers from Steam Next Fest Summer. So make sure to check that out, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.